What? No, you can't back at the camera. Good morning. Thought I'd bring you a little update on my flock of chickens. Been quite a while since I've talked about that. It is morning time. I just let them out, and as you can see, they are enjoying the feed I gave them. I've got one sneaking up behind me here. There she is. Well, since she's closest to the camera, I'll introduce her. This is my newest hen. This is Morgana. She is a Red Ranger, which, along with the rooster that you can see in the group there at some point, you see him stand up every now and then, and his name is Emrys. They are two that I saved from the meat flock I raised this year. Y'all just be quiet and eat, alright? Raised 30 meat birds earlier this year, and knew from the start I was going to save a rooster because I wanted a rooster for the flock of laying hens. But through it all, the coloring on Morgana was just, she stood out right away. She's cream colored, as you can see. She's right there. Little black tips on her tail. She's a really beautiful bird. So I decided to save her as well. Had some issues getting her welcomed into the flock. Had a little coop that I kept alongside the main coop for a couple of weeks with the two new birds. And when I introduced them, of course, the rooster figured out real quick what his job was, and he was welcomed in quite readily. But the old hens didn't take to a new hen real easily at all, and in fact at one point we thought they had killed her, but we were able to nurse her back. We had a house chicken for a couple weeks. That was not pretty. But now that we've got them out here in the garden closed down and we're letting them do their work, they've got enough room that she can kind of do her own thing, but yet they all roost at night. And as you can see, if she gets a little too close to one of them while they're eating, they run her off. But she's doing better now. At this point, she's just, low man on totem pole. They're not like actively going after her, again, except while they're eating. Food is the issue still, but I try and spread it out enough that she can get her own while not bothering the others. So, and the older hens are going through molt, so we're lucky to get maybe an egg a day. Throughout the summer, with 5 hens, we were getting 5 eggs a day, so we were very egg-happy people. Hi there. Hi. Hi. Yeah, hi. Sometimes she'll come up to me, and I've been able to catch her and handle her a few times. Yeah. But the meat birds, that was an experience. Again, we did 30 meat birds. I built a movable coop similar to what Al at Lemon Acres built, though I went and bought different materials and didn't realize it until after I'd already built it. So, yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, I remember the video, but then didn't rewatch it again until afterwards. So, if you ever follow an instructional video, be sure to have it fresh in your mind. And ended up, it was 30 Red Rangers. They raised them for 12 weeks and started butchering them on Labor Day weekend with the help of some friends. And they ended up weighing out at about 2.5 to 3 pounds, and there were a couple different factors as to why I think they were so small. First off, I think I had too many in the coop. I didn't build it large enough to accommodate 30 birds, so I think next time I would either do half as many or build a second coop. And then the other thing is I think I just raised them in the heat of summer, and it was a pretty hot summer this year, so I think that was a factor as well. The entire butchering experience was not unpleasant. I mean, it was what it was, but yet I didn't not like it. I didn't like it, kind of thing. I actually split it up over 2 weeks because Labor Day weekend I was sick as a dog, and it was almost 100 degrees out the day we did it, so we only did half the birds and then waited another 2 weeks to finish the other half. So one thing I learned, for a plucker, I used a drill bit attachment plucker. Found it to be virtually useless, and we ended up plucking most of them by hand anyways. So I would not do it again not raise more meat birds until I had a drum plucker to make that easier. And then I also would not raise more meat birds until I had a way to raise them outside completely. Because when we started, we had a little kiddie pool with a wall around it inside the house to raise them as chicks for the first few weeks, and 30 chicks very quickly stink up an entire house. And there's no way to get rid of that stink without getting rid of the birds. So yeah, they would be completely outside rather than spend any time in the house at all. But that was the meat bird experience. I would do it again, but again, there's certain things I would change about it before I would do it again. And then with the laying hens here, again, we're up to 6 hens now. Morgana's at a point where she probably will start laying anytime. She's, old enough. So we might start getting another egg a day from her. Once the molt's done on these girls, maybe they'll start laying more too. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, the older girls will let me handle them very easily. It's this new one and the rooster that don't. In fact, the rooster won't, if you notice, he won't even come anywhere near me. Yeah. Go on. Go on. What? No, you can't back at the camera. That's not your food. That's not food. No. Stop. Come on. Well, I think I'll get it wrapped up because they seem to have finished their food and are now curious about me, and I don't want to become the next thing they start pecking on. So that was an update on the chickens. Hope you're all having a great day. Talk to you later.